You mentioned there we should do something about 17th century, especially dominated poetry, and more specifically, metaphysical poetry. So it is really a hard task to manage these things in poetry, especially it has mentioned you this literary has its features of poetry. So being a dominated genre of the 17th century, inshallah, we are going to study some sessions about John Donne and metaphysical poetry, whose dominated or famous figure is John Donne. I don't know whether you have gone through Dr. Samuel Johnson's ideas about John Donne and metaphysical poetry or not, but still in this semester, inshallah, we'll follow some cases of the century, I mean, the poetry of the century, 17th century, so to get some deep information about such things. Uh, when it comes to theory, really everything would be a little bit hard, my dear friends, to understand and to what we say to what the hell is going on there in theory. Theory itself is really a hard task stage, and firstly we should what say go on it to read first of all some poems, to analyze them, to find out some political, some social, some economic, some psychological, some religious, especially. Because in this era, in the 17th century, Puritanism was stated the society, the church, and popes also were there as the high leaders of people. So many problems happened in period, this period, especially Puritanism period. So we're going to get some information about such things, inshallah, in this case. There is no news from Irani students. It's that only our Iraqi friends are there. What does it mean? It means you are the real friend. You are the real friend. Because uh, that's, as I saw, mixed with Irani and Iraqi students. Isn't it? Or only Iraqi students are here in this. Okay, my dear friends, as I mentioned you, in this era, I mean in 17th century, as I mentioned you, we are going to study Puritanism, especially metaphysical poetry by the founder of it, Donne, and from Samuel Johnson's point of view. Uh, it is said that it was Johnson who was born in 1709 and died in 1784 in London. So he coined the term metaphysical. Regarding John Donne, as I mentioned, regarding John Donne and his followers in his book Life of Cowley. Okay, so uh, you can remember this yourself by Samuel Johnson. This is the book Life of Cowley. Okay, Life of Cowley. Um, he had borrowed, here Samuel Johnson, the term from Dryden. Press the new that affects metaphysics. It shows metaphysics. So now uh, we are going to know what do we mean by metaphysics, my dear friend. First of all, we should know what do we mean by metaphysics, and then inshallah talk about features of that also metaphysics. Okay, so it's so clear that this is a compound word, okay, meta and physics. Meta and physics. It seems meta means beyond. Physics means physical nature. Um, no doubt. This is a compound word, which is meta, meaning beyond, physics, meaning physical nature. Unusual sense, metaphysical poetry deals metaphysical subject. What do we mean by metaphysical subjects? What are metaphysical subjects here? Easily we can say that metaphysical subject, the nature of the universe can be one of the first. The nature of the universe, planets, and our man. So the nature of the soul and even man's relationship with God. This is the case. Man's relationship with God is there also. Okay, my dear friends. So, the metaphysical subjects, you can remember them just by jotting down that metaphor. Sending them for you. Metaphysical subjects are nature of the universe, is one, movements of planets, two, creation of man, even, then the nature, the soul, nature of the soul, man's relationship with God. So these are taken as the features of metaphysical subjects, which find them through poems of the metaphysicals, especially as I mentioned you, John. Uh, Zamal, how are you, sir? I don't know whether Zamal is the female name or Zamal. 2 minutes, my dear friend. Okay, just my dears, forgive me. Yeah, as I mentioned you, the subject, physical subjects taken as the nature of the universe, the movements of planets, and the creation of man, nature of the soul, man's relationship with. Thank Ghafer for sending this information. But I'd like here to advise you something, my all my Iraqi. As I was there at your university, I mean, Tahqiqat, or Azad University of Tehran, colleagues were talking about the cases which they are facing. It's mostly Iraqi students. But that, my dear friends, do not use technically, please, for your exam papers and sheets, or for your lectures in the class. Do not use these direct citations from internet. Okay, this is not the case. It is not okay because plagiarism is there for the literature, and inshallah, uh, this semester you are going to complete your third semester, and it means that you have to study to write your have to start to write your profile and say your thesis. Suppose that if I am going to be the referee for case in your Viva session, if I found some direct and without acknowledgement cases in your thesis, I will reject it really. So this is the case with everybody. You can remember, you can take something from internet. Okay? You can take something. Then you should paraphrase it. Okay? You should paraphrase it. Let it be your own words. And go through internet, getting many information from it. Then you should write your own words of the case. Okay? Do not take anything directly from the internet. Otherwise, you would be in trouble, my dear friend. Whether for your exams or especially more importantly when it's inshallah in seminar subject, I will tell you something about these cases uh, because when you directly use some information from internet, call that plagiarism. It means to steal the words of others. Okay for you. So whenever just important, that's okay. You can take something. Internet, Do you hear me tonight? Abby? Yes, I know. This is the usual problem. What now? Do you hear my friends? So luckily, it's the usual problem with internet, and mostly in Iraq, also the same case. Uh, This is why it cuts off. Uh, you know, part of internet, unfortunately. This is okay. Yes, uh, lovely. I mentioned you about the students direct citations from internet, and as I told you, this is not okay for you, especially uh, after this semester. Immediately, you should start your thesis, and whatever would be there in your thesis, if the is, for example, uh, direct citations from internet, they reject your case, then you would be in trouble in that case. So, it's okay. But let's go on. Yes, as I mentioned you, my dear friends, metaphysical objects are nature of the universe, the movements of planets, and nature of the soul, and also so. Now I would like to talk a little bit about John Donne. Uh, his metaphysical poetry important. So featured metaphysical and
You are currently the only person in this conference.
uh, Habib,
You are currently the only person in this conference.
Now, uh, voice. Yes.
You are currently the only person in this conference.
You hear me?
You are currently the only person in this conference.
What about now, friends? Can you hear me? Unfortunately, yeah, this is the usual with it. But you just need to change the form. Because the platform is really okay. The thing is not okay here. Uh, Suggested, but still they use this platform. We have some other platforms for the university. They uh, are good, and but that one is not okay. I mean, I don't know what is wrong. So, what about now? Is it okay now, friends? Oh, nice. Yes. Uh, only, as I mentioned, uh, metaphysical poetry has its own features, and most of them are applicable to the poems of, as I mentioned for you, as a famous figure of this era, I mean metaphysics. So uh, I will mention some poem of Hegde, uh, I mean, uh, John Doe, my dance. Just briefly, just I'm going to talk about uh, his song "Go and Catch the Star." One of the films it was wisely gone of love. This John elucidate his friends to building are really the scholarship that means John X are the 17th century because these things, as I view, are the sign of happily explained at this neither pop nor fearful famous poem this be not out. We have to read this poem also because it's so not proud. One of John Donne's lovely poems also is there. This be not so yeah, poem we are going to look at is the ecstasy. From poem for us from ecstasy. Yes, I know, Ammar. Yeah, as I mentioned you, my dear friends, uh, one of the poems which we are going to awaited sung and catch the star. Be not proud. Ecstasy also would be there. Uh, I know of, I know, I know everything. What can I do? Do anything for nonsense. Yeah, in the poem, in the Ecstasy, as I mentioned, the poet cleverly distinguishes between physical and ritual love. The use of images conceits reveals poet's wisdom. This poem, I mean, a cast, and mostly being something like similar for belongs only to the period, metaphysical period, and really these literary devices made the history of this area very much hard to understand. Uh, yes, then use of fantastic conceits. The next feature of metaphysical poetry, as I mentioned you, is the use of conceits. These conceits are far-fetched comparisons. They are nearly the instruments by which the metaphysical poets reveal their wit, and here Donne's poetry abundant in conceit, really, in some of his poems, especially Valediction, Forbidden Morning. We will see the conceits, many conceits there in this poem, along with some similes and metaphors also, which make the poetry very much hard to understanding, my dear friends. So the prescribed poems are full of conceits. Then in the song, as I mentioned, you sang "Go and Catch the Star." In this poem, the poet compares inconsistency of a beautiful woman with many impossible things. They include catching meteor, listening to the music of mermaids, and begetting a child on a Mandarin plant. In the other poem, This Be Not Proud, John Donne compares this with sleep and rest. We will go through the poem. He also calls this the slave of war, poison, and many other things which cause this. Then in ecstasy, the poet compares the dead bodies, the lovers, with statues. So the poem also contains the well-known violet conceit. The violet develops in strength, color, the poem done, which belongs to the metaphysical poetry, my dears. So far-fetched images. Yeah, far-fetched images sometimes taken as conceit and sometimes taken as some unbelievable images, some strange images, which are found in the musical poetry. Then musical poets uses far-fetched images, which the use of maybe these literary device in their poems. The metaphysical poets tried really to see accurate resemblance or similarities, as I mentioned, between things which are apparently alike. In this regard, Dr. Johnson says that the most heterogeneous ideas are yoked by violence together. In Death Be Not Proud, the poet has compared death with sleep and rest. In Ecstasy, Donne has brought together the opposites, like the medieval and the modern, the physical and the spiritual, human and the non-human. And these are really very strange things which are found in the poetry of metaphysics. So the images of the souls also, the bodies and love are striking in poetry of metaphysics. In the song also, I mean in the poem song, The poet has used several impossible things and compared them to the beautiful and faithful woman. Okay, so yeah, comparing a woman with a lovely face, with a lovely soul, is a little hard. What we say with some things which are there, with some objects which are there around of us, but still in his poetry, John Donne has done these cases very skillfully, masterfully, and we see some things in his poetry. Uh, Poetry of, I mean, John Donne. Now, friends, do you hear me or still not? I think, that's okay. That's okay. Oh, my dear friends, as I am really not in a good mood. I am not in a good mood. I cannot talk so much more than this. Then, if you let me, just you can enjoy yourself. Inshallah, from the session we will start our kiss and let me to take some rest because I'm in the mood and maybe I'm for this class. So inshallah, from next session, uh, yeah, that's the case. Yeah, Ebtihaj, I will send you some case, inshallah, through. Aha. Please immediately open a WhatsApp group there, okay? Please open a WhatsApp group and write ادبیات قرن 17 and هجده. Put the name, put the name. I think already you've done Zametres. I think we have the group already there. If so, I will send some files for this object. If not, please open any other group and put the name. But as I remember, that group is there already. As I remember, I don't know. That's okay. Yes, Khafid. That's okay. That's okay. Friends can join into the group, and then inshallah, uh, I will send files for you. Then you can take them and you can study them for the subject 17th and 18th century uh, literature. Okay, my probably not continue, inshallah. If I get better, I compensate the class for